Hey, what? Look, you stupid bastard, you've got no arms left. Yes, I have. Look, it's a flesh wound. I don't believe I need you to display of courage, skill, nerve, grace, stupidity. I'll do you for that. Oh, what? Come here. What are you going to do, bleed on me? I'm invincible. You're a loony. A black knight always triumphs.
Roundtable Live Monday through Friday, 1 a.m. till 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Bring your mind, bring your ideas, bring your voice. King Arthur had nothing on us here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com.
Hi, everybody. It's me, the Fetch, host of Inside the Eye Live. Before the Sunday mainstream media political pundit talk shows, there's Inside the Eye Live, where we break down some of the weekly mainstream media talking points before the talking points even get aired. Add in some entertaining stories, weather, cats, intriguing and informative guests, and you get one of the most listened to Saturday morning streaming media political talk shows going today. And it's all right here on our flagship station, Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. So join me, the Fetch, for Inside the Eye Live every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern. It is truly intelligent media for the politically aware.
This is Thomas, a.k.a. a Mad Painter. I'd like you to join me Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Open Canvas. Don't forget to bring an open mind.
Yes, folks, that's right. Bring an open mind to an open canvas. Again, that is Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. UFOs to government corruption. This is Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance, to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom?
The future is uncertain. I know this. Death is inevitable. I know this. But one thing is certain, as free men, it is our right to live unencumbered and in peace. And those times are quickly drawing to an end. And in these times, peace is certainly an illusion. And as the chains grow tighter, our ability to slip those chains increase incrementally with every passing moment. Inaction is no longer an option. It's time to raise our voices like a cacophony of thunder and lightning and tell the masters no more. And this is Nighthawk, and I say, for myself, no more. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, because the freedom is slipping away. All right, thanks for listening while we took that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And yeah, we're going to get back to your host.
like a fake, doesn't it? Well, it is a fake. But here's a fella who's willing to bet his hard-earned money on it. Henry here got on the train with $200. He couldn't see any harm in a friendly game of cards. What if the other men were strangers? And take Joe Collins. He's got a nice wife at home. But he met this girl at the bar, and she looked kind of cute after the first couple of drinks.
Yeah, so the dude that left having a couple of drinks, thinking that this lady was into him, just sucking him into having some dude pistol whip him and take him for his wallet, huh? That's what's going on in America right now. Easily let off a cliff. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. This is the Common Denominator Show. I'm your host, The Mechanic. It's 1 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon on the west coast of this here United States. Once again, we got a strike on TMK2. We find ourselves over at freedomsips.com, revolution.radio. We're also on Good Citizen Reigns. Good Citizen Reigns, REIGNS. On Facebook. And for the time being, through the weekend, you will be able to find me on Self-Ownership Reigns, REIGNS. Self-Ownership Reigns on the backup channel for the Mechanic Knows Too. The backup to the backup to the backup to the backup to the backup. The name of today's episode is Don't Be a Sucker, like so many are. I got a gem. I got a real gem from the 50s. It's a demonstration of how a country gains a communist, authoritarian, totalitarian system through division and other means. So bear with. I will go ahead and drop this link for those of you in Chatsy so you can watch along. We're only a minute or so in. We'll blow this back up here for everybody on YouTube and Facebook. Here we go. Flippy, how you doing? I'm over here. That's who we are. We're in Chatsy. I see that Kim Chaos is moonlighting both chat rooms. Meow Riker. Willow and Mona just finished up their shows. So thank you to them two fine ladies. We got the Fleisch in the house. How you doing? Craig Duncan, Claymore, Driver Dan. I haven't seen Driver Dan in a minute. Yeah, we in here. So we're going to get back to this little video, right? It's about 20 minutes long. And you know how I run vids, right? I'll play a little. I'll comment a little. I'll play a little. I'll comment a little. Does anybody else need training wheels today? Are we good? Does everybody have their feelings in check? Has everybody left their ego at the door? I hope so. This is how it starts. They attack everything and everybody at different angles. They look for where most people are going to be susceptible at to create the division. Hey, low level, high level, that's what they do. That's what they do. All right, check it out.
There's a good old-fashioned word for people like this. We call them suckers. And there are other people who stay up nights figuring out how to take away what they've got. There are all kinds of games and all kinds of suckers. Take Mike here, for instance. He's got everything, I would say. He's young, he's healthy, he's got a job. And he's got a country called America. It's a wonderful thing to have. America. Lots of room. Room enough to raise plenty of food. Big factories to make things a man can use. Big cities to do the business of a big country. And then people. Lots of people. Enough to work the farm and build the factories, dig the mines, run the business. All kinds of people. People from different countries with different religions, different colored skins. Free people. They can live together and work together and build America together because they're free. Free to vote, to say what they please, go to their own churches, to pick their own jobs. Yeah, Mike's got something, all right. He's got America. But there are guys who stay up nights figuring out how to take that away from him.
I want to give you the truth, folks. The truth about America. I know you've got a lot of questions. You want to know why you're not getting the breaks you deserve. Well, I'm not a politician, but I've made it my business to study these things, and I happen to know the facts. Now, friends, I'm just an average American. But I'm an American, and some of the things I see in this country of ours make my blood boil. I see people with foreign accents making all the money. I see Negroes holding jobs that belong to me and you. Now I ask you, if we allow this thing to go on, what's going to become of us real Americans?
I've heard this kind of talk before, but I never expected to hear it in America.
This fellow seems to know what he's talking about.
Yes, he knows all right.
What's the answer? What are we real Americans going to do about it? You'll find it right here in this little pamphlet. The truth about Negroes and foreigners. The truth about the Catholic Church. Now, friends, these books are free. Paid for by real Americans who want others to know the truth.
Excuse me, young man, but are you actually going to read that stuff?
Sure, why not? You heard what he said, didn't you?
How they did this in Nazi Germany, all right, is you're hearing the early stages of division. Individuals like that public speaker that you heard are players in this division. It's exactly to the extent of what we're hearing right now throughout the general public. Different platforms, different influencers, huh? Many of them paid shills. In fact, I think we might have ran into a shill not too long ago on this very station. And I give props to the individual host that called it like he's seen it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, I heard. But do you believe in that kind of talk?
I don't know. Makes pretty good sense to me.
I'm speaking to you as an American. And I tell you, friends, we'll never be able to call this country our own until it's a country without. Without what? Yeah, without what? Without Negroes. Without alien foreigners. Without Catholics. Without Freemasons. You know these people.
What's wrong with the Masons? I'm a Mason. Hey, that fellow's talking about me.
And that makes a difference, doesn't it?
These are your enemies.
It doesn't seem to make a difference for a lot of people until it hits them, right? In order to create the ultimate division, you have to demonize pretty much everybody to hate everybody. You're the leader. You're a king in a castle. You're overlooking the layout of the land in front of you, and you see thousands of men and women with shovels, pitchforks, sledgehammers, swords in the lake, coming towards you with torches, right? They're ready to burn your shit down. No worry, because your confidant to the left says to you, he says to you, don't worry. We've already started to convince those holding the shovels that the guys holding the pitchforks want to take away your shovel. And thus starts the inner fighting, right? The infighting, right? That's what's going on in this country right now.
These are the people who are trying to take over our country. Now you know them. You know what they stand for. And it's up to you and me to fight them. Fight them and destroy them before they destroy us. Thank you.
Before he said Masons, you were ready to agree with him.
Well, yes, but he was talking about, well, about those other people.
But in this country, we have no other people. We are American people, all of us.
What about you? You aren't American, are you?
I was born in Hungary, but now I am an American citizen. And I have seen what this kind of talk can do. I saw it in Berlin.
What were you doing there?
I was a professor at the university. I heard the same words we have heard today. But I was a fool then. I thought Nazis were crazy people, stupid fanatics. But unfortunately, it was not so. You see, they knew that they were not strong enough to conquer a unified country. So they split Germany into small groups. They used prejudice as a practical weapon to cripple the nation. Of course, that was not easy to do. They had to work hard to do it. You see, we human beings are not born with prejudices. Always they are made for us, made by someone who wants something. Remember that when you hear this kind of talk. Somebody is going to get something out of it, and it isn't going to be you. This is not classroom theory. I saw it happen. I saw it first in Berlin in 1932. 5 young men that I knew were standing in the crowd listening to the Nazi speaker. Eric was a Catholic. Anton, a student of mine, was a Jew. Heinrich owned a small hardware store. Karl was a farmer. And Hans was an unemployed metal worker.
To all true Aryan Germans, I say it is time you inherited the nation which rightfully belongs to you. To you alone belongs the glorious destiny of the greater Germany. The Nazi Party will provide land for the farmer, work for the worker, and profits for the small businessman. Who is getting these things now? The Jew. The Jew who has stolen our nation and our birthright. Who makes all the money and takes all our jobs? The Jew! He must be shunned. He must be ostracized. He must be eliminated. And the Catholics. We don't want our great nation run by a foreign church. We Germans will know what to do with these people when the time comes. They and their faith must be destroyed. Then there are the Freemasons. In Germany, we have no place for secret societies. There may be only one society, and that is the Nazi Party. There may be no secrecy about that in the new greater Germany.
One by one, he attacked each minority and he split them off one from the other. These men were all fellow Germans when they came here today. Now they were split into rival groups, suspicious of each other, hating each other. They were being swindled, all of them. But the man who was really being fooled was Hans. He was pure German, according to Nazi standards. To him, they promised everything, and he fell for it.
You who are true Aryan Germans will share the glorious destiny of our fatherland. You are the pure-blooded, the master race. It is your divine right to rule, and the Nazi Party stands ready to put you into power. It is for you to command all Germany and someday the entire world.
That's how Hans became a Superman. They gave him a uniform and they pumped up his ego. He wasn't just a little fellow out of work anymore. He was a member of the master race. His wife couldn't quite understand. Even though he was a Superman, there wasn't any food in the house. Stupid woman. Didn't she realize that the Nazis were going to make jobs for everybody? There would be plenty of food and clothing and a new house.
So much about this is, again, they're taking clips and pieces and this and that from different early movies, right? And the narrator here is transcribing a possible domestic situ where the wife and the kids are waiting for food. It's a German soldier. From what I understood, the German soldiers ate pretty good. I think their families were provided for, but I could be wrong. Again, some of this might be propaganda, but I do know that this is like the textbook. What would you say? Like game plan for a communist agenda, if you will. So yeah, let's run it.
Everything they wanted. The glorious future of Germany was to be theirs, and their children would someday rule the world. But his wife, silly woman, still wondered where the next meal was coming from. Hans didn't like that kind of talk. It was dangerous. For that kind of talk, people should be put in jail.
Dude's telling his own wife, that kind of talk, you should be put in jail. Anything against the official narrative and people should be put in jail. That's communism. That's right. What's the official narrative? Well, it depends on who's supplying it. In this case, probably the government. Imagine this very government I'm talking about right now having ownership of the only available currency, and it was digital. Imagine the combination of both of these. A controlled digital currency, right? And a full-on police state. Please tell me. Tell me how you envision this has anything to do with the good of the Commonwealth at all. Get a grip.
Hans had swallowed the bait all right. And these were the men who baited the hook. Why? So that Hans could come to power? Of course.
Just to give you a little description, it shows this is all in black and white. Yeah, the video's in the chat room, you know. And it's Hitler talking to all of his associates, bureaucrats, and you know, military constituents, right? All right.
It's not. So they could come to power. They would merely use Hans to help them get there. He would do the dirty work for them.
Yeah, don't forget, Hans is the ego-driven, pride manifested super soldier for the Nazis. The guy who was convinced that he's on the right side of history to kill for his country. And it's the Jews, it's the Catholics, it's this and that. That's the problem. All right? It's down task now.
Hans and thousands of others like him, all playing a sucker's game. They gambled with other people's liberty, and of course they lost their own. A nation of suckers. Hitler needed these people. There was lots of work to be done. There were trade unions to be smashed, because unions were organized and might offer resistance. There were many political parties in Germany. These the Nazis destroyed. They were determined to smash every organization where people might band together and resist them. There were Jews to be beaten and killed. The Jews were not powerful, but they were a convenient excuse for all the nation's ills. And besides, a Nazi party member could not take over this man's store. Hundreds of Catholics were put in jail because the Catholic Church had strength and could resist the Nazi drive for power.
All right. So what did we have happen here in Calgary? They just arrested a preacher up there. A little like I don't think it was Catholic, but I think it was Christian. But it doesn't matter. They will start to attack all aspects of religion. There's only to be one religion, a one world religion, prominently sponsored by the Vatican. But we all know in the basement of the Vatican is a two-horned creature named Lucifer, who was apparently shedding light. Frick snack. Did I just... No, sorry. Forgive me, really.
They had split the nation into 100 pieces. And then one by one, they had destroyed the pieces. Over these broken pieces, the Nazis rode into power. One party, one nation, one religion. These men had won their struggle for power. They now ruled all of Germany. But still they had trouble with their oldest and most persistent enemy, the truth. They found that truth does not die easy.
Yeah. That's the thing about the truth. Let me indulge, just for a moment, if you will, on the truth. It doesn't require your approval. In a general sense, come on, I'm not picking on you. Well, the truth isn't around to make accommodations for you. It's not around to hold your hand, pat you on the butt, and whisper sweet nothings in your ear. You see, the truth is completely unbiased unto which it affects. Right? It holds no bias. Completely neutral. It doesn't favor one over the other. But somehow, it is still manipulated in this world. And it's got to be tech. The truth is just not sitting around waiting to make friends. That's where we are right now. And I think that's why people fear the truth the most. Right? I agree, Linda. They're trying to rewrite the truth. You're going to see later on in this video how they try to burn the truth. You can compare it to today. What are they doing to today's knowledge? Trying to cancel it. Cancel it. Cancel the truth. Good luck.
And so they decided to abolish truth. One great source of truth is literature. So they burned books, 20 million of them. Many great men in Germany who were spokesmen for truth were jailed or driven from their country. Teachers, writers, scientists. Education was discouraged. In 5 years, college attendance dropped 53%. It was forbidden to listen to a British radio program or read an American newspaper. In Nazi Germany, you had to get your information from Dr. Goebbels. He knew what was best for you.
We could take that away, and now we could say in Nazi Canada, you can go to Trudeau and Associates for the truth. No lie, ladies and gentlemen. That is exactly how it is. In fact, so much so, there are now walls being constructed around the Capitol. Or capitals, I should say. That's right. What I'm playing for you right now is exactly what's happening in countries around the world. And our closest neighbor, Canada. Outstanding.
You couldn't see this movie or listen to this music. And you couldn't watch Joe Louis fight because the champion had black skin. He disproved Hitler's theory of Nordic supremacy. Albert Einstein, one of the world's great scientists, disproved that theory too. He was non-Aryan, so he had to leave Germany. His mind was dedicated to the search for truth, and the Nazis, having sold a lie, were most afraid of truth. The church.
So, yeah. If you're a man in search of the truth in a time of universal deceit, right? That's what we're witnessing right here. Telling the truth in a time of universal deceit is a revolutionary act. Those aren't my words, but I'm happy to repeat them. I've been telling the truth for a long time now. Am I a revolutionary? No. I'm just a knucklehead surrounded by a bunch of trees. That's me. I'm a big dumb goof up here who thinks for himself. I had a very good day outside in the general public yesterday. Some very good conversations around town. The atmosphere thing seems to be changing a little bit. We will see. Yesterday, I acquired a business card of a very influential individual. In addition to that, I had a conversation with an individual that says that I should stick around for a while. There is a legitimate candidate for sheriff. We are going to run this existing sheriff right out of town. Oh, what the hell? She's 2 seconds away from being a commie bastard herself. Giving power to the board of supervisors when you're the one elected by the people. You don't have a boss other than the people. You know who else agrees with that same sentiment? The district attorney. He knows who his boss is, the people. And he's been here nearly a decade, from what I understand. Must be doing something right. And this individual is going to back the particular candidate. Now, I'm not going to drop the name of the candidate right now. Get a grip. Too early. We got some things to work out. Game plan. All right. The CDC just lifted the mask mandate for anybody who's fully vaccinated. How does that affect a guy like me who hasn't worn it since day one? Should I be putting on a mask now because I'm going to be surrounded? Now, all these people in the grocery stores won't be wearing a mask. It won't be because they're taking a stand. No. It won't be because they're fed up. No. It'll be because they now feel free and protected because they've had the sleever. Get a grip, people. Yeah, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Church was one force in Germany still strong enough to proclaim the truth in public.
No doubt is possible that we Christians are in a grave battle. Against us stands a faith out of blood. The battle signals range from cool repudiation to hate-filled causes. Weapons are used that centuries have dulled. The aim of this battle is to dislodge Christianity from our fatherland.
This Catholic priest was arrested the following day on charges of immorality. The Protestant Church also continued to try and fight for truth.
He who desires liberty for himself cannot deny it to others, lest he lose what he has gained. This is the great lesson the world can learn from Germany.
The Nazis.
I'm going to run this back. I want you to hear this one more time. All right? I want you to hear this and understand this one more time. This is how the elite would like to run shit. We're going to run it back. Let's see. Where are we at? 52, 56. Let's go 45.
Lest he lose what he has gained. This is the great lesson the world can learn from Germany.
Out of blood. The battle signals range from cool repudiation to hate-filled causes. Weapons are used that centuries have dulled. The aim of this battle is to dislodge Christianity from our fatherland.
This Catholic priest was arrested the following day on charges of immorality. The Protestant Church also continued to try and fight for truth.
He who desires liberty for himself cannot deny it to others, lest he lose what he has gained. This is the great lesson the world can learn from Germany.
The Nazis.
Yeah, you want liberty? Fine. We'll take what you have. We'll give it to others. You'll be liberating everybody else. Yeah. I got a problem. I got a problem with paying for a public healthcare system when the majority of my payments, my investment into a public healthcare system would mean that I'm paying for the medical issues of a high population of those who have very little. Well, I mean, look, there's a lot of habits out there that are very, they're very consequential. All right. And I shouldn't have to pay for the consequences that come with these types of lifestyles. All right. And we know what I'm talking about. I shouldn't have to pay for those medical consequences that come with living very bad, toxic lifestyles. I don't know. It's a tricky road, where we can live free and make these choices for ourselves. They got to make something affordable, right? There's always a cost. The whole system's broken. It's shredded cheese. Probably stale on one side. Come on.
Put this man in a concentration camp. There were others who spoke for truth, and I am proud to say that educators were among them.
And what, may I ask, is an Aryan? I don't know myself. But let us see what our present so-called authorities have to say about it. They say he is tall, slender, blue-eyed, and blonde. There is no Aryan race.
And more important, there is no master race. There are people who may find these ideas convenient, but science cannot support them. There is no scientific proof that there's any correlation between a man's racial characteristics and his native ability or character. In all racial groups, we find the same range of potentialities.
So
we find idiots and geniuses. We find criminals and philanthropists. We must judge each man as an individual and not.
they want to take the individual thought process away from man. And again, for all you, like, whatever, one of those genders, man at one time represented both men and women. Just saying.
By the color of his skin or his eyes or by the length of his nose.
Yeah. Well, what you just heard were the doors opening, right? And what's walking in? The Gestapo. They look a lot like the two clowns I met at the village when I was up there with my flags, letting everybody know my duty to rebel against tyranny. Less than 7.3 minutes. 7 point, yeah, maybe 7.5. I had Gestapo on my back door, coming in hot. Here they are right here. We've seen this today, but in real life, the Gestapo showed up to the church and took that man to jail. Disgusting. Your county is enforcing mask mandates because they're getting paid to do so at your inconvenience. You're the punt of your own county sick joke. That's you. All right.
Come in, gentlemen. Make yourselves comfortable. There are many differences between individuals. We each have different capabilities, different backgrounds, different views about what's right and what's wrong. Like the difference between me and these gentlemen who have just arrived. But that...
Yeah, these gentlemen, they're just staring at this dude. It's the death look. This dude's getting the death clock. All right. And they're just a couple of Nazi fascist bastards looking to shut this guy down for his speech. Well, what is he saying? Well, the problem is it's not necessarily individually about what he's saying. It's about what he's exposing, right? The narrative here is that there is a master race. He's proving that there isn't. And he's absolutely right. There is no master race. There is no master race. All of that is garbage. It's fiction to create the divide. Everybody needs to get a grip. It's probably too late to get a grip for most.
That is not the difference in race. It is a difference in the way we think. Remember that. And remember that there is no master race. That is a scientific truth. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying.
And so, for all practical purposes, truth had been abolished in Germany. A lot of my German friends wondered what had hit them. How did it happen? Where did it start? It started right here. And this was where it could have been stopped. If those people had stood together, if they had protected each other, they could have resisted the Nazi threat. Together they would have been strong. But once they allowed themselves to be split apart, they were helpless. When that first minority lost out, everybody lost out. They made the mistake of gambling with other people's freedom. Now let's see how those bets paid off. Karl the farmer was gambling on a better life for himself. What he got was extra hours of back-breaking work, as much as 100 hours a week. He was forced to stay on his land and produce what he was told to produce, because now Hitler was preparing for war. For Heinrich, who owned a hardware store, the bet didn't pay off either. 104,000 small businesses were closed in 2 years. And for Hans, conditions hadn't improved any. He had a job now in the munitions factory, but he worked long hours for little pay. The working conditions grew increasingly bad. And even though he didn't like the job, he wasn't permitted to leave it. There still wasn't enough food in his house. Hitler said you couldn't have butter and cannon. So Hans couldn't have butter. And when Hitler decided the time was right, Germany went to war. Not by declaring war, but by a carefully prepared sneak attack. Once again, Hitler needed Hans to do his dirty work. Hans was an expert at brutality by this time, and Hitler had decided to use Hans and his brutality against other peoples, the Czechs, the Poles, the French, the Russians. But in the crucial test of war, Hitler's race theories didn't pay off. His pure-blooded supermen were defeated by the mongrel armies he despised. By the British at El Alamein. By the Russians at Stalingrad. And then on D-Day by American soldiers of every color and religion, who smashed across the Normandy beaches and drove on through to the heart of Germany. For the misguided Germans who had swallowed the Nazi bait, the Nazi game did not pay off. The continent of Europe was strewn with millions of German bodies, pure Aryan bodies. Karl the farmer was left in the snow outside of Moscow. Heinrich stayed in Italy at Salerno. And Hans, who was going to rule the world, got only a little patch of Normandy that he could call his own.
We must never let that happen to us or to our country. We must never let ourselves be divided by race or color or religion, because in this country we all belong to minority groups. I was born in Hungary. You are a Mason. These are minorities. And then you belong to other minority groups too. You are a farmer. You have blue eyes. You go to the Methodist Church. Your right to belong to these minorities is a precious thing. You have a right to be what you are and say what you think, because here we have personal freedom. We have liberty. And these are not just fancy words. This is a practical and priceless way of living. But we must work at it. We must guard everyone's liberty, or we can lose our own. If we allow any minority to lose its freedom by persecution or by prejudice, we are threatening our own freedom. And this is not simply an ideal. This is good, hard common sense. You see, here in America is not a question whether we tolerate minorities. America is minorities. And that means you and me.
So let's not be suckers. We must not allow the freedom or dignity of any man to be threatened by any act or word. Let's be selfish about it. Let's forget about we and they. Let's think about us.
Yeah, well, we and they, right? Is that a part of the acceptable pronoun group? I don't know. I don't know. How would I know that? I don't know, man. I don't follow pronouns. If you got something dangling around there, you know, you're a man in my book. I don't care how tight the pants are, or the hair, or the voice. You're still a dude. Sorry. And the rulers, they know this. They do. They know this. They know there's only two genders. They also know that there's a lot to gain by convincing a good number of people, still a very small minority, but a good number of people nonetheless, that they can choose their own gender. Boy, the level of discernment and utter chaos that takes place in a family. I'm not going to share a story on the air, but I rented a house, in a roundabout way, and I had a kind of a granny flat in the back, and I ran into a situation where there was a person in a transition period living in the home, currently waiting I want to say this right. It's upper where they remove the woman's breast, mastectomy. I'm sorry, it escapes me, but either way, this was a minor. This was a minor going through a transition, and the court had granted the mother permission, as well as the surgeon permission, to remove, because the minor was transitioning from a female to a male. You know, again, all of that's even a little bit deeper than just the divide. That right there is a lot to do with what I believe is a Satan, just a satanic kind of nefarious ritual like tactic. It's just so serpent seed bloodline spirit cooking type thing, right? The fact that a mother could be convinced that it's the right thing to do to your child. This is probably considered hate speech. Well, it is what it is. Because truth, well, what is it, right? Truth and fear, we know their role in this game, right? They want to covert all truth. Truth is freeing. Truth is unforgiving. It doesn't need your friendship or approval, right? Right? We've covered all this in the show. Sorry, it's only an hour, but that is what it is. I think a lot of information came this way today for everybody. Short amount of time. I try to press as much in here as I can. Do some research on the Baphomet. Probably do yourself some solid on that. The Baphomet, the upper torso of a female, the head of a lamb, the lower torso of a man. I think the lower, even the below the knee is the hooves of the goat. right? Doesn't have like the regular feet. The Baphomet. There's actually a public statue that is a Baphomet, and I think it's in Washington D.C. if I'm not mistaken. That's true. A good number of individuals in political power are Satanists. You know, there's many relations. Some say Aleister Crowley is the father of Ms. Bush, Barbara Bush. Shocker. Mr. Crowley. Right. Well, look. Once again, the United States is enthralled into a battle against communism. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm down for the fight. I won't back down. And I think that's what I have. I think that's what I'm surrounded by right now. I think I'm in a little town of commies. And I'm running around, you know, spreading rights and a message of freedom. And they want to shut that truth down, right? This isn't all about me, but I'm only speaking for me because I'm living my life right now up here, right? This is what I'm doing. So I'm surrounded by a bunch of commie bastards. And a good number of these commie bastards are probably on the board of supervisors, probably inside the sheriff's department, Town Lakes, maybe, council, bishop, South County, Inyo County. Probably not as many. But up here, Mono County, it's like a flea bag worth of commies. I don't know how we're going to combat it, but I'm doing my best to let them know that I'm not going to take it. All right? The head of a goat. That's right. Sorry, I said lamb, head of a goat. Thank you, Nancy. Horns included. So I found out yesterday. I just dropped this little breadcrumb real quick. We got a little minute left here or so. I found out yesterday that somebody made a false report of a hate crime against me as a result of some chalk they found on the sidewalk. Don't know how it got there. The charge was thrown out. Insufficient evidence. It doesn't meet the criteria. A hate crime. A hate crime. Yeah. Okay. Good luck. And then there was a subsequent charge of vandalizing as a result of some chalk that wound up on the sidewalk. Not sure how it got there. But there'll be no charges filed. That's right. Thanks for having me, folks. We'll see you sometime before the end of the weekend, I'm sure. YouTube, how you doing? Yeah, we did an hour. All good. Right? Won't back down, Mr. Waters. Won't be backing down either. Thank you, Dandy. I think the video is great, and it'll probably get me a strike. So it is what it is. I found the video on YouTube, so we know it can't be the video. So if I get a strike, we know it's my commentary. The YouTube Gestapo coming to get the mechanic. Oh, hell. Thank you, Therina, Standy, Debbie, Kim, Nancy, Mr. Waters. All the fine people in the hizzy. Linda, I see you in there. We're missing a couple, but again, this is the backup channel. We got to make sure next time we got on TMK that everybody subscribes to this channel. Yo, Derek, how you doing? Yo, Derek, man, I'm sorry about that, dude. Hey, listen, TMK Roman numeral number 2. That's my main channel now. Sorry you're not getting notices, but I haven't done a video on this channel in a minute. It's my backup. So like the TMK Roman numeral number 2 with the space in between, you should be able to find that. Yeah. Yeah, Dirty Engineer. See you in there. Thank you. Thanks for coming in. All right, well, I got some duties to go take care of. Nancy, thank you. Yeah. Should I link the other channel? Yeah, I'll link the main channel here. For everybody. The main TMK. Let's see here. We'll change that. Switch accounts. Right there. Oh, I get 2 more subs today. Thank you. Yeah, we got really low numbers on this channel. Really low numbers on both channels, actually, but that's all right. What am I doing here? Go back to this other channel. There we go. I lost a sub on TMK. Look at that. I lost a sub. What the hell? I tell you, these people are just straight up pansies by and large. Just pansies. Whatever. All right. Here's TMK right here. Yeah, I can't. The TMK channel, I can't post. I can't go live. And I can't upload either. I don't even think I can upload. So there's that. It is what it is. So we'll do some TCB here. We'll do a couple of videos over the weekend here, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, on self-ownership reigns. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, sub to that main channel. Yeah, 4 more days, Skim. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a fuck situ. It is what it is, though. So, all right. We'll check in with you sometime soon. Take it easy.